Good morning, everyone.
Head of International Relations Department with Jakarta, Mr. Robi Sundara, MSc.
The Honorable Lecturer of International Relations, Mrs. Mutiara Pertiwi, PhD. The Honorable Political Counselor of Russian Federation in the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Alex Rico.
The Honorable Ambassador of Sri Lanka, HE Admiral Professor Wijaya Colombe.
The Honorable Ambassador of Ethiopia, HE Professor Fakadi Alata, PhD.
The Honorable Ambassador of the Philippines, HE Gina Alagon Jamaluddin, PhD.
The Honorable First Secretary of Pakistan, Mrs. Mahmoud Bushra Ali, and the Honorable Director of UNIC, Mrs. Michael Clifford.
My name is Alio Pri.
We are delighted to be your hosts for today's event. Welcome to the International Relations Cultural for 2024. An event that brings together cultural diversity from all corners of the world.
But before, we would like to say thank you to all the sponsors, namely Pertamina Gas Negara,
Berita Banten,
Brickstar,
On Stage Academy,
and also we would like to say thank you to all the media partners who have supported this amazing event, namely FISIP UIN Jakarta,
Himpunan Mahasiswa Hubungan Internasional Jayabaya,
Student for Liberty Indonesia,
UIN Jakarta Official,
Radio Dakwah dan Komunikasi FM,
Fokus UIN Jakarta,
HMPS Manajemen Pendidikan,
HMPS Akuntansi,
HMPS Pendidikan Bahasa Arab,
Himpunan Mahasiswa Politik UIN Jakarta,
Himpunan Mahasiswa Sosiologi UIN Jakarta,
FISIP Chapter Jayabaya,
HMPS PM,
Radio Vicom,
ISEC UIN Jakarta,
Youth Ranger Jakarta,
and also Kejar Mimpi Depok. We are also honored to present this meaningful event, and we hope you enjoy every moment we have prepared. But before we go further, we have jargon. So ladies and gentlemen, in order to enhance our spirit of this morning, we have a jargon. If we say International Relations Cultural Fair 2024,
you say bridging culture, bridging herd.
All right, let's try together.
International Relations Cultural Fair 2024.
Right, thank you so much.
To start this event, let us all stand and sing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly stand up.
Thank you to all the guests. You may sit back down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite the Director of the United Nations Information Center, or UNIC, Mr. Michael Zafar, to deliver his speech. Mr. Michael Zafar, the floor is yours.
I prepared some slides, but at that time I thought I had more time. Unfortunately, I had to do another meeting and we tried out this. So let's so you guys hopefully know that there is a UN office here in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And the UN has three main mandates. One is on peace and security. Thankfully, Indonesia is at peace, so there's no, peace and security kind of work over here. The second pillar of the UN's work is humanitarian affairs. And that countries recover from disasters. While Indonesia is a rather disaster-prone country, it can manage its own disasters very fast. The UN is not here for that either. It's the third pillar, which is development, where the UN, different UN agencies work together with the Indonesian government to support Indonesia in reaching development objectives. As you can see on the slide, there are 26 UN agencies here in Indonesia. We have about 2,000 staff, the vast majority of whom are Indonesians. And the amount of money the UN spent in Indonesia is about $290 million last year. That's a lot of money for you and me, but it's not so much money for a country like Indonesia. And this is to underscore again that the role of the UN is principally not to bring money to Indonesia. Indonesia is a middle-income country. So instead, most of the work focuses on providing policy advice based on international best practices and supporting the government. The next slide, please. Okay, so these are the various roles that the UN has in international peace and security. I won't dwell on this because I'd like to get to culture. I was asked to go back. So if we can, next slide, please. Yeah, that's just move on. Okay, so culture is a very important tool for international peace. Not just Indonesia, but actually many of the countries whose ambassadors we will hear from later today, like Ethiopia or the Russian Federation, are multi-ethnic countries. And internationally, it's the same thing. The UN, through its agency, UNESCO, believes that getting to know each other's cultures is an important tool in respecting other people, other countries, and also making peace. So, Indonesia has 54 sites that are somehow recognized by the UN in some shape or form. Perhaps you know that the latest Indonesian site added to the UN list of World Heritage Sites was the cosmological glass in Jakarta, which was in one of these incredible videos that was sold. That just happened earlier this year. So, yeah, let's go to the next slide. So there are 10 World Heritage Sites in Indonesia. Many of them are cultural, but they're also natural sites. So these represent World Heritage that's recognized by the entire world, by the entire UN, as Indonesia's contribution to our joint global heritage. It's huge, recognition for Indonesia to have 10 sites on this list. Moving on. Yes, there are cultural practices that intangible goods. For instance, making button is an example of things. Right? So that's also part of World Heritage. It does not just have to be a World Heritage. Arts, crafts, that's its own, we saw some of these earlier, again, very unique, and is recognized worldwide as Indonesia's contribution to global culture. Next, please. Yes, so the UN also has a global historical archive of things like speeches that are recognized as important milestones in human history. So the speech, the that led to the proclamation of Indonesian independence, for instance, is included in this slide. Moving on. Biodiversity reserve, right? So Indonesia is one of the most biodiverse countries in the world, and that's very well recognized. And it does for all of us, even more for you guys as the next generation of leaders, to take care of the heritage for the sake of Indonesia and for the sake of the world. Okay. Yes, so there are the Sustainable Development Goals, which also form part of Indonesia's own development agenda, both for the medium term and long term development. And as I mentioned earlier, the UN supports Indonesia towards reaching the Sustainable Development Goals and its objectives in the field of culture, which is what I very briefly have the opportunity to talk about today, but also in other areas. So, like I said, I need to leave now, but there are two thoughts or two ideas I want to leave with. First of all, my deputy, Siska, is going to stay here if you have questions later. And also at the UN, which is located in central Jakarta, we are open to visits by university students. So if you guys are interested in learning more, including about the work of specific agencies, get in touch with my office, the UN Information Center, and we can organize this. You can also follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We have items that we put on our website and also social media that really focus on young people and not just one-way communication, but to engage, utilize, to give us your feedback on what the UN should do to have shape the kind of world that you want to live. So that's all I have time for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michael Sefar, for the remarkable speech.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will now have a speech from the Project Officer of International Relations Cultural Fair 2024, Mr. Heikel. For Mr. Heikel, the floor is yours.
First of all, I would like to say welcome and thank you to Your Excellency, Admiral Professor Jayanan Kolombic as the Ambassador of Australia of Indonesia. Your Excellency Sergei Topchinov, who is represented today by Mr. Alex Rikov as the Commissioner Political. Your Excellency General PhD as the Ambassador of Philippines to Indonesia. Your Excellency Professor Pekabudi Alita, PhD, as the Ambassador of Ethiopia to Indonesia. Ms. Masuma Bushra as the Secretary and Officer in Jakarta, and the audience. The Honorable Dean Faculty of Social and Political Science, Professor Dr. Zuliati Beiba and Silva. The Honorable Head of International Relations Student, Mr. Rudi Sugara MSc, and to all the participants who joining this event today. Culture is one of the richest of our nation. Living in a world where there is so much cultural diversity makes us more aware of how beautiful each person is with their various backgrounds. Indonesia is one of the countries with the richest cultural diversity. Under Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, we are able to unite more than 17,000 islands, live side by side with more than 300 ethnicities, and speak more than 700 languages. This is Indonesia, the land of diversity. In culture, we use symbols or traditions such as music, dance, or even painting to interact, open up dialogue, and bring together various communities. In addition, when a conflict occurs, intercultural dialogue provides a platform to resolve the problem peacefully. Therefore, culture is hope that always blooms in all seasons. Here I would like to thank all the distinguished guests who will give your perspective about our cultural diversity, to celebrate diversity, cultivate and friendship. Thank you to the university and our sponsor, especially our main sponsor, PT Pertamina Gas Negara. Thank you to Berita Banten, Brits Art, On Stage Academy, and all media partners who have supported our event. Last but not least, thank you to Pasukan Kebudayaan, for which mean cultural troops who have made this event happen. It is a great achievement in your age because you have succeeded in contributing to creating intercultural dialogue. Honorable guests, please enjoy the show, celebrate culture, to celebrate diversity, to celebrate ICF 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haidul, for the warm remarks. Next, we invite the chairman of FISIP UIN Jakarta, Mr. Rama, to deliver his speech. For Mr. Rama, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I'd like to say welcome and thank you to Mr. Miklos Gaspar as a director of UNIC Jakarta, His Excellency Admiral Professor Jayana Colombage as the Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Indonesia, His Excellency Syarif, who is represented today by Mr. Alex Divikov as the Political Counselor, Her Excellency Gina Alagon Jamralin, PhD, as the Ambassador of Philippines to Indonesia, His Excellency Professor Pekadubiene Aleka, PhD, as the Ambassador of Ethiopia to Indonesia, Her Excellency Masuma Bushro, as Foreign Secretary in Pakistan Embassy Jakarta. The Honorable Dean Faculty of Social and Political Science, Professor Dr. Hidayatullah Toyiba, MSc MA, the Honorable Head of International Relations Study, Mr. Robi Sugara, MSc, and to all the participants who joining this event today. On behalf of International Relations Student Association of Jakarta, it's a great honor to welcome you all to this year's International Relations Cultural Fair with the theme Cultural Diversity, a hope that always blooms in all seasons. This event reminds us that the diversity is not only a feature of our world, but the diversity is a powerful source of our strength and also renewal. Like flowers blooming in all seasons, throughout every season, and also cultural diversity continues to thrive, offering hope, and also fostering unity with our differences. And today, as we come together to celebrate this diversity, we seize the opportunity to deepen our understanding of each other's culture and perspectives. May this event serve as a bridge fostering meaningful connection between nations. And once again, welcome, and I hope today's discussion inspires and enlightens you. And before I close my speech, I want to deliver pantun to you all, and don't forget to say cakep. Tinggi-tinggi burung terbang, hinggap di dahan pohon randu. ICF selalu berkembang, tapi ICF nothing without you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for Mr. Rama for the remarks and for the compliment at the end of his speech. Now, we invite the head of International Relations Department, Mr. Robi Sugara, MSc. For Mr. Robi Sugara, MSc, the floor is yours.
Becayu naik mobil Mercy. Thank you, MC. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa na'udzu billahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyi'ati fala mudilla lahu wa la ilaha illallah wa la ilaha illallah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan rasulullah. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. First of all, let us express our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing and guidance, enabling us together here today at International Cultural Fair. On behalf of Dean of the Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, who is unable to attend, it's my honor to deliver this speech. And we are particularly privileged to have the distinguished presence of His Excellency Admiral Bapak Profesor Jayanat Colombik, Ambassador of Sri Lanka, and His Excellency Bapak Profesor PKD Piani Alika, Ambassador of Ethiopia, and also His Excellency Dr. Dina Alagun Jamara, Ambassador of the Philippines, and also Mr. His Alexei Bapak Alexei Riko, Consular Political Russian Federation, the Republic of Indonesia. This period is a great celebration of the rich diversity of the culture that connect us all. It serves as a reminder that despite our different background, language, and tradition, we are shared common humanity. Cultural diplomacy play a vital role in strengthening peace between nations, and even like this are instrumental in promoting peace and mutual understanding. And also, I would like to extend my appreciation to Himpunan Mahasiswa Ilmu Hubungan Internasional, juga para panitianya yang dari beberapa bulan yang lalu sudah persiapan untuk acara yang saya kira luar biasa, penyambutannya sangat sempurna ya. Saya minta nanti mungkin ada portofolio yang dibikinkan, sebuah video yang bisa di-share ke yang hadir dari para duta besar yang terhormat di sini juga ya. Saya senang sekali bahwa kegiatannya sangat sempurna yang dilakukan oleh para tim ya, para mahasiswa yang ini saya tidak bisa membayangkan bagaimana bisa melaksanakan kegiatan yang super sekali. And once again, thank you to our esteemed guests for your attendance. May Allah bless this gathering and our effort to build a more peaceful and connected world. Enjoy this event. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, thank you so much for Mr. Wisugara MNP for the remarkable speech. And thank you to all the leaders for their remarks. Next, we will move to a very interesting discussion session. In this first session, we will explore the dialogue across differences, the diplomatic path for cultural harmony. This team invites us to bridge differences through cultural dialogue to achieve harmony. Diplomacy plays a key role in embracing diversity, turning it into a shared strength. Through respectful communication, differences can unite us. Cultural harmony is a vital foundation for strong international relations.
The moderator for this session is Mrs. Mutiara Pertiwi, PhD, who will also introduce the speakers and manage the discussion. Without further ado, let's welcome Mrs. Mutiara Pertiwi, PhD, to the stage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello everyone. I feel wonderful energy from this stage, and I think we need to give another kudos to all the performance this morning, all the dancers. I think kita harus appreciate lagi kayaknya tadi yang pagi ini excellencies, officials, colleagues, and also students. My name is Mutiara. I will be the moderator of the session of ambassadorial talk on cultural diversity. And we are honored to welcome on stage our most distinguished guest, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Admiral Prof. Jayananda Columbich, and the Consular of Russian Embassy in Indonesia, Mr. Alexei Rykov. Sorry for my mispronunciation. Thank you for being so supportive of this event, sirs. And unfortunately, the ambassador of Palestine cannot join us today because there was immediate cancellation last night because he and his team needs to depart to Jerusalem immediately. And I hope it is also acceptable if I conduct this talk show in bilingual instructions, just to make sure the students here, many of them are on the first semester, so still adapting with international environment. So I think for the benefit of our students, I will try to translate as much as I could the information that you convey to the audience. I will shift to Bahasa Indonesia for a moment. Selamat pagi semuanya. Saya mohon jaga ketertiban diskusi ini ya. Kita ini beruntung sekali untuk menerima tamu yang sangat terhormat dan memiliki banyak informasi. Sayang sekali Duta Besar Palestina tidak bisa bergabung karena harus segera pergi ke Yerusalem, gitu ya. Jadi pembatalan tiba-tiba. Saya akan membantu talk show ini berusaha dengan instruksi bilingual, tapi poin-poinnya aja nanti saya akan usahakan untuk terjemahkan. Nanti saya juga akan memberikan waktu sekitar 20 menit untuk tanya jawab dari audiens ya. Allow me first to, saya akan memperkenalkan dulu tamu-tamu kita di sini. Is it okay if I introduce your background in Bahasa Indonesia? Yeah, it's custom. Jadi Duta Besar yang pertama di sebelah saya ini adalah Yang Mulia Duta Besar Sri Lanka, Ambassador Columbich. Beliau adalah pernah menjabat sebagai Panglima Angkatan Laut, Admiral Bintang 4 di Sri Lanka. Beliau juga merupakan seorang profesor in many program in worldwide, like in many different universities in the world. Jadi menjadi profesor di banyak universitas di dunia. And he also published a book based on his dissertation. The title is Asymmetric Warfare at Sea: The Case of Sri Lanka. It's a very sounds very interesting topic, but maybe for a different opportunity. We are also honored to have Consular Alexei Rykov from the Russian Embassy. Consular Rykov adalah seorang diplomat karir dan juga telah ditempatkan di berbagai kantor diplomatik Rusia di berbagai negara termasuk Pakistan, Tajikistan, Belanda for Netherlands, dan juga New Zealand. the umbrella topic of this session is dialogue across differences, the quest for cultural harmony. I think the event committee here would like to convey a very important message through this tagline that we need to learn better how to cultivate peace out of cultural diversity, building bridges rather than fortresses. And throughout history, tensions and the utility of culture in foreign policy have been part of diplomatic practices, of course, among nations. Yet, I'm from International Relations Department, and in international relations literature, I think the literature only began to develop a discussion and also framework about the roles of culture in international relations, maybe mostly in this current century, in the 21st century. So maybe for the first question to open our talk show, I would like to invite our distinguished speakers to elaborate a bit on the extent to which culture has been part of your country's diplomatic practices, and to provide maybe some examples of any shift of orientation of or diplomatic framework in the way your country perceives the utility of culture, the utility of cultural values and instruments in this 21st century. Maybe Ambassador Columbus, if would like, maybe would like to begin with your perspective.
Good morning, selamat pagi. First, thank you very much, Madam and the students, for inviting me and our colleagues to visit your beautiful university. The first impression of this university, when we were seated over there were two dance performances. Now that gave an indication the energy, the enthusiasm of your students. And it also depicted beautiful dance costumes of your cultural heritage. And I think it's from Bandung because it depicts the Bandung, and it was beautiful, as Madam said. So let us give another round of applause to these beautiful dancers. So, ladies and gentlemen, cultural diplomacy. Now, I think Madam mentioned a little while ago that cultural diplomacy aspect was introduced much later in the 21st century. But it is like chicken and egg, which came first. Whether it is diplomacy came first, gave way to culture or cultural diplomacy. Did not we have cultural exchanges before formal diplomatic relations were established among countries? Well, I think we can argue both, because good old days, during the days of sailing ships, ships were moving, and Indonesia and Sri Lanka were part of ancient maritime Silk Route, part of ancient spice route, and therefore many cultural exchanges took place even before the Westphalian system created the nation state, and even before the Vienna Convention established diplomatic protocol. We were engaged in cultural diplomacy. Look at Indonesia for a moment. How did you get this rich, diverse culture? Now we heard the speaker mentioning Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. That term, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, is it Bahasa Indonesia? Of course, now it is, but it is a Sanskrit word. Came from India, right? Now, where did you get this rich culture, I see two ways. One, you have 17,000 islands spanning 5,000 kilometers from edge of the Indian Ocean to the Western Pacific. So this is the island culture. You are living in an island. You have practically everything within that island, but still you like to trade. That is one. The other one is the maritime trade. Maritime trade created a cultural exchange among the islands within Indonesia and also sharing your cultures with other parts of the world. So that is why I said, even before the diplomatic relations were established proper, we were engaged in cultural exchanges and cultural diplomacy. Also, look at how Indonesia got the main religions. Now, Indonesia is a country with 87% Muslim majority. Where did you get this? Across the ocean. Why is Indonesia so rich in culture? Because you have Islamic culture, you have Christian culture, you have Hindu culture, especially focusing Bali, you have Buddhist culture, you have, Buddhist culture, whether it is Borobudur or Muara Jambi, you have Confucius culture. So it is a cultural melting pot of religions. All these religions have brought beautiful culture. This is why Indonesia is so rich in culture. Now, how do we use this as a tool in diplomacy? I think that is what the students should practice, learn. And Madam just mentioned some of them are first semester. Well, it's a beautiful start for them to get an idea about. Now, let me move a little to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is also an island nation. So we have one thing common with Indonesia. Indonesia is the archipelago, 17,000 islands. Sri Lanka is one island. We have something common. Then again, all the four religions, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, came across the sea. So we have a mixed culture as well. Now, Sri Lanka is mainly a Buddhist culture. 72% of our population are Buddhist, right? So we are having more Buddhist culture intertwined with other cultures. And that has given rise to a very image of a peaceful country, image of very noble country, benevolent country, image of non-aligned country. We are not aligned with anyone. So this is the culture that we have created in the world. Small island, but in a geographically interested location. Therefore, we consider ourselves big, rich cultural heritage spanning more than 2,500 years. And now, of course, in the 50s, Sri Lanka, though a small country, a newly independent country, joined with Indonesia to create the famous Bandung Conference. Right? Now, these are examples how two countries have worked together using the culture. Also, let me mention one more thing before I give my mic to the colleague. During the time of the Dutch East Indies period, there were a lot of warriors, prince fighters in Indonesia who did not like the Dutch. What did the Dutch government do? Put them on a ship and send them to Sri Lanka. Right? Today, we have Java communities in Sri Lanka. They speak Bahasa, they dress like you, and they have Padang food, right? So that is again a mixture of culture. And they are very well established business people. They are super rich as well. And we still call them Java or Java community. Java community. And we have some names like Jagoda, Java Panaja, Java culturing, all depicting that they originally came from Java. So this is culture, right? With that, they brought the Indonesian culture to Sri Lanka. So there are many examples I can give, but I will stop and pass it on to my colleague. We will continue. Thank you.
Maybe Mr. Nico could share the perspective from Russian.
Selamat pagi semuanya. Thank you once again for inviting us. I'd like to say I respect so much. So Russia advocates for equal partnership, dialogue with all countries of the world, and nice neocolonialism in all its manifestations. The key to successful cultural diplomacy of my country is the promotion of the values of the multinational people of Russia. We are able to find a common language with almost anyone, thanks to the cultural diversity of Russia, like in Indonesia. Russia is a country where representatives of various religious confessions and ethnic groups live and prosper together. We overcome difficulties and achieve success. Cultural diversity is our communication, is our support in matter of building communication in a global political arena. Considering that a significant representative of the Fatherland live in the Russian Federation, we understand the worldview of the citizen people of Indonesia well, largely due to interregional cooperation. I'm talking primarily about Tatarstan and other Russian regions. We are able to delve into the process that are taking place here and build a trusting dialogue on a wide range of issues. By the way, there are about 25 million Muslims in Russia. They're not migrants, they're local people. It seems to me that the key product goods of my country is known for Russian higher education. We have within the framework of the government quota of Russia, foreign citizens have the opportunity to receive free education, which is valued throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe I will just translate a little bit to the audience. Perlu diterjemahkan nggak? Nggak usah? Iya atau tidak? Yang mulia Ambassador Columbus berkata bahwa sulit untuk berpikir yang mana duluan yang muncul, diplomasi atau culture, gitu ya. Dan kalau menurut observasi beliau, sepertinya dominan yang mendahului, yang hadir duluan itu justru relasi intercultural daripada international, gitu ya. Karena konvensi-konvensi tentang diplomasi itu baru ada di abad 20, sedangkan relasi antar budaya itu sudah terjadi ratusan tahun, bahkan mungkin ribuan tahun. Kita belajar modern state system sama pre-modern state system ya di kelas pengantar HI. Nah, menurut Profesor and Ambassador Columbus ini kita dulu antara Sri Lanka sama Indonesia itu dihubungkan oleh spice trail. Spice trail itu jalur rempah, ya. Dan kita dari dulu dikenal sebagai teman, banyak kemitraan dan juga kedekatan politik budaya dengan antara dua bangsa ini, termasuk waktu Indonesia dijajah. Nah, para raja dan juga para pangeran yang dimusuhi oleh Belanda itu banyak dibuang ke Sri Lanka. Sampai di Sri Lanka itu ada komunitas Jawa gitu. Jadi di sana beliau juga familiar dengan rendang, dengan tarian-tarian Jawa gitu ya. Jadi menurut beliau mengagumi kekayaan budaya di Indonesia dan memiliki banyak kesamaan dengan Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka dan Indonesia itu sudah menjalin kerjasama budaya yang sangat lama gitu ya. Meskipun kita punya karakter budaya yang sebenarnya cukup berbeda. Kalau di Indonesia banyak terinspirasi oleh agama Islam misalnya, kalau di Sri Lanka itu yang dominan itu Buddha, meskipun sama-sama multi religion gitu ya, banyak agama juga di sana gitu. Nah jadi ya mungkin kurang lebih seperti itu ya yang inti dari apa yang disampaikan oleh Ambassador Beach. Nah sedangkan Konselor Rykov dari Rusia itu menyampaikan bahwa untuk Rusia sendiri yang dikedepankan adalah kemitraan dan juga Rusia multi etnik, multi agama juga. Dan di Rusia itu Islam itu mencapai 25 juta orang gitu ya, jadi cukup besar, populasinya cukup besar gitu. Dan tentu saja banyak isu, tapi Rusia berusaha untuk mengedepankan dialog untuk mengelola banyak isu ini, gitu ya. Oke, I will go to the next question. Saya akan lanjutkan ke pertanyaan berikutnya. So this is our next question is it is more inward reflection. Is like in Indonesia, batik is the national costume, and rendang and sate we are already familiar with a lot of our traditional local cuisine. We try to introduce these cultural products as our national pride to the world. And also we still observe and preserve a range of traditional ceremonies that have become the source of local wisdom for ages. We would like to know what are the key cultural values or items that become the source of wisdom in your country, and that the cultural items that your government probably introduces to the international audience or global audience. Maybe, I don't know, who would like to start first with the Rico?
Russia is a rich culture with regionally majority of people are Russian Orthodox, and we then currently, as I mentioned, we have many religions in Russia, and so culture is not only Japanese. Mostly recognize not only things, but yes, everyone knows, but also food like blini, pancakes, and the Russian national dress costume. We have also Russian national dances and songs, prominent culture, famous Russian classical music, literature, ballet. And festivals and in the combination of people last March participated in this festival. No, in Sochi, in Russia, and I represent the nation culture very well. And they did very close.
You know, I regret not wearing batik today. I'm the only one in a suit. All my colleague ambassadors are wearing batik, so I blame my assistant Nurul for that. She didn't insist that I wear batik. I have for quite a long because I love Indonesian batik. I think it's a very strong cultural tool that Indonesia is having because it's not all over the world. Whenever Sri Lankans come, one of the questions they ask me, where can we buy batik? So I take them to Tamrin City or whatever, Ganahadi or whatever, but Tamrin City is little average, not the most expensive. So batik is a very strong cultural tool Indonesia is having. And I do wear batik every day to work, except today. So I'm sorry about it. Next time I visit your university, I will wear batik. But Madam asked the question, what has Sri Lanka contributed? In fact, your theme is about peace and conflict also. You know, peace and conflict through cultural diplomacy. And today, we know we are having many conflicts. It is true that we did not have a World War III. It is true that we did not have a nuclear bomb going off after 1945, but there are a lot of violent armed conflict. Now in that, I'm talking about the conflict and peace. You know, when there is a conflict, what should we do? We should manage it, we should resolve it, and we should transform it to long-lasting peace. But what are we doing? We take one side against the other, and we provide weapons. We provide weapon systems to kill each other. So the conflict never ends. It goes on killing each other, destroying each other, and not really resolving or transforming. In that, if you look at the Bandung spirit, the 10 principles of Bandung spirit, it talks about peaceful resolution of disputes. Now, in that, I mentioned to you that Sri Lanka is a country with 72% Buddhist. Of course, there are large number of Indonesian Buddhist monks study in Sri Lanka. And they are all over. They are in Bandung, they are in Borobudur, they are in Mendur, they are in everywhere. So that is one cultural gift that we have given back in Asia. My point is, we have a concept called hatred cannot be quelled by hatred. Hatred of the violence cannot be suppressed by violence. Violence can only be suppressed by compassion and love. Now, this is a concept Sri Lanka has spoken very loud. If you remember the San Francisco summit after the Hiroshima and Nagasaki was bombed, right? In that, the president of Sri Lanka, because that summit was done or going on to punish who? Germany and Japan. Why? Because they were the bad guys at that time, right? Russia, the Allied forces got together and won the war. Now, aftermath of war, world was thinking of punishing Germany and Japan. So our prime minister at that time went to San Francisco summit and said, don't punish them. We have to forgive them. And we have to take them back to our unity. And he cited what I just said. Hatred cannot be quelled by hatred. Hatred can only be nullified by compassion and love. So this is, I think, one of the best message that we have given to the world, applicable even today.
Thank you, Ambassador Kolumbich and also Councilor Rico. Again, I will translate it to the audience. Jadi dari Councilor Rico menyatakan bahwa Rusia itu yang dominan adalah komunitas Kristen Ortodoks. Jadi punya warna yang cukup berbeda ya komunitas budayanya. Meskipun juga di dalamnya ada banyak agama gitu ya. Komunitas etnisnya juga sangat beragam. Nah, ini mungkin agak agak berbeda sama budaya kita. Kalau di sana tuh mereka justru salah satu yang sangat mereka banggakan itu justru drinksnya ya. Kalau di sini kita banyak yang nggak bisa minum ya, tapi kalau di sana salah satu yang justru dikenal tuh di Rusia itu justru minumannya. Kemudian juga national costume-nya mereka juga punya sendiri, banyak juga dancer, song, gitu, tarian-tarian, termasuk classical music sama ballet gitu. Jadi yang diperkenalkan ke dunia, terutama kita tahu ya penari-penari ballerina itu banyak dari Rusia. Kemudian juga baru-baru ini ada festival budaya di Rusia di mana komunitas Indonesia di sana juga berpartisipasi dan menampilkan budaya Indonesia di Rusia, dan itu adalah festival yang sangat sukses katanya di sana. Kemudian beralih ke Ambassador Duta Besar yang mulia Kolumbich, ini menyatakan kalau di Sri Lanka itu mengagumi sekali batik Indonesia dan beliau minta maaf hari ini tidak pakai batik. Biasanya sebenarnya beliau tiap hari pakai batik ya, dan kalau ada tamu dari Sri Lanka datang itu biasanya yang pertama mereka minta diantar ke Tamrin City cari batik. Nah terus beliau ini ingin membahas peran yang lebih besar lagi tentang pemikiran apa yang kontribusi Sri Lanka terhadap perdamaian di dunia dengan mengedepankan ide-ide culturalnya gitu ya. Dan menurut beliau yang dikedepankan adalah ide-ide cultural yang berkaitan dengan perdamaian dunia. Beliau menyatakan bahwa salah satu contohnya, jadi Sri Lanka ini memang kalau kita lihat sejarah banyak sekali bergabung dengan banyak inisiatif perdamaian dunia ya pasca Perang Dunia II. Kalau yang belum familiar bisa update sendiri. Nah, jadi beliau menyatakan bahwa satu ide yang pernah dikemukakan pasca perjanjian damai akhir Perang Dunia namanya perjanjian San Francisco itu. Waktu itu ada aspirasi untuk menghukum negara-negara yang memulai perang, termasuk Jerman dan juga Jepang. Waktu itu di komunitas diplomasi itu komunitas diplomatik itu ingin menghukum mereka gitu ya, dengan memberi sanksi atau menutupi senjatanya dan sebagainya. Nah, tapi waktu itu pemimpin Sri Lanka waktu itu adalah salah satu yang menentang hal tersebut. Justru dia bilang don't punish. Ya, don't punish them gitu. Jadi jangan menghukum mereka karena katanya hatred cannot be quelled. No, cannot be neutralized by hatred gitu. Jadi kebencian tidak bisa dihilangkan atau dilawan dengan kebencian gitu ya. Jadi kalau mau melawan kebencian yang harus dikedepankan justru adalah compassion and love. It's really a beautiful idea ya. And itu yang ingin disebarkan oleh Sri Lanka dalam diplomasinya. I will try to translate the third question and probably my last question before we will receive a question from the audience. Maybe this time, let's talk about challenges. Both of you have been to so many countries for various assignments, meeting and working with people from various diverse cultural backgrounds. Of course, dialogue across differences is beautiful and important. However, it is not a trivial business, it's difficult. Dialogue and building bridges can be difficult in your experience and observations. What are the key challenges in building bridges across diverse cultural backgrounds? Maybe this time back to you, sir.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question because we are talking about cultural diplomacy. And in the tools that we have, we easily or conveniently divide them into hard power, like military, economic, geography, and soft power. Now, diplomacy sometimes is hard, but cultural diplomacy is a soft power. It basically talk about the soul of that country, not about the material wealth, not about the military might, but the soul of that country. And also, in being diplomats, when we do something, we expect something. I do something for you and you give me something. But in cultural diplomacy, you don't expect immediate return. You don't expect immediate return. So soft power. So one challenge that we have in deriving the benefits from cultural diplomacy is it is long term, right? I'm not having a gun and pointing at you and say, do what you want, do what I want. No, I'm trying to say, oh, you are very beautiful, madam. Your costume is beautiful. I'm trying to win you softly. It takes time, right? Persuasion, right? So this is one issue one major challenge we have. Then on the normal diplomatic path, we deal with diplomats, we deal with governments, we deal with officials, right? But in cultural diplomacy, we deal with people. Sometimes the government and the people are not in the same frequency. Look at what is happening in the world today. Some governments are aiding and abetting conflict many places. But within their countries, there are a large number of people protesting against them. Look at America. There are a large number of protests against Israel for killing Palestinians. However, the American government support, aid and abet the Israel military campaign. So this is a problem because culturally people are different, right, than the government. So how do we divide the two, government and the people? Because the cultural diplomacy is targeting the people, right? And also we have many examples of the power of cultural diplomacy. Two, music is one way, especially during the Cold War, right? Especially during the Cold War, I believe there was a group called Beatles. The Beatles songs became a hype and they were so popular. And they spoke about what? Freedom, a free world, a beautiful world, flashy cars. Now that sent a message to, I don't want to refer to former USSR, but it did. It did send a message to the other side of the Cold War. Look, there is another world, right? Now, Beatles, they were not a government tool, but they were able to penetrate through the masses into the other side. And also another challenge that we have in cultural diplomacy is the tools. Because nowadays the technology is there. So we have propaganda and we have counter propaganda. We have positive messaging and we have negative messaging. So all these, I think, are some of the challenges that we have in cultural diplomacy. Another important thing is cost, right? If you remember, good old days, the Russian ballets were very popular in many parts of the world, right? And one of the first magazines that I have read as a school child was Sputnik, right? Now all that costs money. You have to write, you have to print, you have to send it to other countries, right? And a ballet, I think it's cost quite a lot. So financial capacities of countries, it's a matter of concern for cultural diplomacy. Now here we see a lot of national day events in Jakarta, right? If your country is very rich, the show is spectacular. If the country is not very rich like my country, we have a very small scale event. That is another challenge for cultural diplomacy. So I have listed few. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ambassador. Mr. Osler, please.
Cultural diplomacy is still a great power, has a great potential, but cannot solve all problems in the world. Another very important tool is interface that is goes very well in Indonesia and in Russia. But barriers, national interest is gratefully cultural diplomacy cannot overcome and solve all the problems in terms of national interest. That is NATO. Gratefully, NATO is a NATO national states and currently there are civilizations. And for example, what can do cultural diplomacy in the Middle East? Difficult question. And by the way, may I have some time to explain the Russian position in the Middle East? Just a couple of minutes. On August 13, Russian-Palestinian talks at the highest level were held in Moscow. Vladimir Putin stated that Russia pays close attention to the situation in the Middle East and developments in Palestine. My country is closely following the unfolding humanitarian disaster in Palestine. We are making every effort to support the Palestinian people. Russia has already sent about 700 tons of various goods there. We are determined to seize an available opportunity to assist the Palestinian people. Above all, our main concern is the loss of civilian lives. Moscow has always advocates for a peaceful settlement, and we understand in this regard, we share the same position, that this problem has deeply historical and probably cultural roots, and is primarily related to the disregarding of decisions made by international organizations, primarily the UN, to establish and create an independent Palestinian state. Russia's stance on this matter remains unchanged. We adopted it a long time ago, and it is in no way motivated by consideration of short-term benefits. We believe that in order to secure lasting and stable peace in the Middle East, it is imperative to implement all UN resolutions with the establishment of a full-fledged Palestinian state as a priority. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jadi tadi pertanyaan saya adalah apa tantangannya sih melakukan diplomasi budaya gitu ya, menggunakan instrumen budaya di ranah foreign policy. Nah, Ambassador Pavlovich menyatakan bahwa budaya itu, jadi kalau dalam instrumen foreign policy ini semester 1 kita baru masuk pembahasan tentang power ya. Nah, power itu ada soft power, ada hard power gitu. Hard power itu lebih ke material, lebih ke militer gitu ya. Nah, kalau soft power itu salah satunya bentuknya adalah budaya gitu ya, culture. Nah, cultural instrumen-instrumen budaya ini lebih kalau hard power itu lebih mencerminkan kepentingan negara gitu ya. Tapi kalau untuk soft power itu lebih mengedepankan jiwa dari bangsanya, gitu, jiwa dari suatu negara gitu. Dan beliau juga menyebutkan bahwa kalau ada persoalannya adalah menggunakan instrumen budaya ini nggak selalu mudah dalam foreign policy. Pertama karena relasi antar negara itu seringkali bentuknya untung rugi gitu ya, untung rugi. Saya kasih sesuatu dan pengen dapat sesuatu sebaliknya secara langsung. Sedangkan kalau budaya itu bekerjanya long term gitu, kita melakukan performance misalnya performance budaya tadi gitu ya, itu berusaha untuk menjalin kebaikan yang baru bisa dinikmati mungkin puluhan tahun dari sekarang melalui kemitraan dan persahabatan gitu. Nah, jadi satu itu masalahnya, yang kedua juga ada masalah two level game. Kalau dalam diplomasi two level game itu ada dua target, ada dua audiens dalam diplomasi ini. Yang satu itu pihak negara, yang satunya lagi adalah people. Nah, yang namanya cultural diplomacy itu lebih melibatkan atau menargetkan audiensnya itu adalah people, bukan negara. Gitu. Jadi berusaha mempersuasi people supaya people-nya memiliki persepsi baik terhadap negara asing, sehingga di level negara juga ada dorongan dari people supaya menjalin persahabatan. Gitu ya. Nah, jadi menurut beliau memang berat cultural elemen budaya itu memang sangat penting dalam diplomasi, tapi memang tantangannya banyak gitu ya. Apalagi juga kemampuan finansial setiap negara berbeda-beda. Semakin kaya suatu negara, maka dia punya investment yang lebih besar di bidang budaya. Tapi kalau pas-pasan financial allocation-nya juga tidak memungkinkan untuk menggelar parade budaya yang terlalu spektakuler gitu ya. Kemudian apa lagi ya tadi? Masalah teknologi juga. Jadi kecanggihan teknologi juga berbeda-beda di tiap negara, itu juga membuat satu tantangan tersendiri. Dan teknologi ini adalah pedang bermata dua, dia bisa jadi ancaman tapi juga bisa menjadi peluang untuk menjembatani berbagai relasi antar bangsa. Nah, saya beralih ke pandangan dari Rusia, Chancellor Rykov menyatakan bahwa sebagai posisi Rusia sebagai great power itu memang menguntungkan karena mungkin dari segi budget, dari segi jangkauan itu besar gitu ya. Tapi sebenarnya juga jadi great power itu berat karena dia nggak bisa juga menyelesaikan semua masalah. Dan itu termasuk dalam menggunakan elemen budaya itu meskipun sangat fungsional gitu ya untuk mendukung hubungan antar bangsa, tapi tetap juga sulit untuk menyelesaikan. Budaya itu nggak bisa diandalkan untuk menyelesaikan semua masalah. Gitu. Selama ini seperti halnya Indonesia, Rusia mengedepankan salah satunya adalah interfaith dialog gitu ya. Nah, untuk menjembatani berbagai kelompok gitu ya yang punya latar belakang cultural dan juga keyakinan yang berbeda. Nah, tapi juga ada masalah national interest, kepentingan negara yang seringkali tidak benar-benar sulit untuk hanya mengandalkan instrumen-instrumen budaya gitu untuk mengelolanya. Beliau memberi contoh ya, misalnya apakah kita bisa menyelesaikan masalah di Timur Tengah termasuk antara Palestina dan Israel hanya menggunakan elemen budaya. Menurut dia itu tidak mungkin gitu ya. Jadi elemen budaya itu fungsional, tapi dia tidak bisa menjadi satu-satunya jembatan untuk atau satu-satunya solusi untuk semua masalah di dunia gitu ya, punya keterbatasan. Nah di akhir beliau ingin menyatakan posisinya tentang apa namanya tentang posisi Rusia terhadap konflik yang sekarang menjadi perhatian kita bersama antara Israel dan Palestina. Beliau menyatakan bahwa Rusia dari awal itu mendukung kemerdekaan Palestina dan berharap agar ada resolusi-resolusi yang lebih kuat dari PBB untuk menyegerakan merdeka dan independennya berdaulatnya negara Palestina, gitu ya. Dan beliau juga menyatakan Rusia sudah menyalurkan setidaknya 700.000 ton bantuan kemanusiaan ke Palestina sebagai bentuk dukungannya terhadap perjuangan dan mengecam segala bentuk penindasan yang sekarang kita saksikan terhadap bangsa Palestina. Demikian, kita ulang dulu kedua ini kita. And I think we need to roll quickly to Q&A session. I will open for maybe only one session because we're running out of time. If there are 3 questions from the audience, maybe the committee can help. Any questions from the audience? Yeah, 1 and 2. Okay, sorry. 1. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you go forward? Can you go to the front so it's easier? Yeah, you and the lady at the back. Yes, you and another one. Yes. It's all ladies, but okay, the ladies are the champions today. Maybe just taking turns in forwarding your questions.
So my name is Kalisha Rahma, and on August 2023, I went to Russia for France International Youth Camp, and it was such an amazing and wonderful experience there. And I love the culture, the food, especially chap-chap. And how I wish right now I could find chap-chap in Indonesia. And I went to Kazan in a police the exact location, and I saw the technology is on another level, such as the delivery robot and the driverless taxi. And I want to ask you a question. As the time goes by, we have to adapt to the dynamics of the world. Technology takes over, and culture is often associated with traditional things, and technology is often associated with modern things. And I want to ask you, and the question is, should we eliminate cultural values within ourselves to adapt to the dynamics of the world? If not, why? So it's possible.
Thank you. Ya, pertanyaan berikutnya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farah Ramziana Sotian. Thank you for the opportunity to ask me now. Like we all know that Indonesia have many cultures and religion, and maybe in Sri Lanka and Russia have many cultures also. And my question is, has there ever been a division in Russia or Sri Lanka caused by cultural differences, or is there a minority cultural group that eventually gives rise to racism, and how the country solves the problem? Thank you.
Okay.
amazing speakers. Thank you so much for your insights. I really appreciate that. And my question is actually the thing that
Sorry, can you start with your name and maybe your
sorry.
institution?
Yes. Okay. So my name is Shana Sabil. I'm from Students for Liberty Indonesia. And I think I really want to ask a question, something that you guys mentioned earlier, which I really like. I totally agree that hatred cannot be neutralized with another hatred. But so within these past years, there's been a lot of global settings, global tension happening right across the country, like in every region. And my question is that can you please extend on how the global tension actually affect like the diplomatic setting in a way that we want to achieve our shared goals of achieving the cultural harmony, but within all of this global setting? Because I can see that a lot of people right now is like they're stressing out, they're feeling unsafe, something like that. So yeah, I just want to know whether it affects directly to the cultural diplomatic and if yes, how do we mitigate that? Thank you for
Thank you so much. Okay, let me come back to your study, maybe while waiting for our speakers responding to your questions. Only 3 questions? Okay. I don't know who would like to start first. Yes, Councillor Rico.
Okay. So the first question, I don't see any problem to combine tradition with modern technologies. It goes together, and any new technologies doesn't contradict culture. So, I cannot see the problem. We should follow progress, technical progress, and traditions and culture. It's the same story. I don't know any contradictions.
Ya, jadi menurut beliau tidak ada kontradiksi antara modern teknologi sama budaya. Jadi beliau nggak bisa banyak bahas soal ini.
And regarding the protection of culture of national minorities in the Russian Federation. So the government has special programs to protect culture of minorities, nations, including Ukrainian Tatars, that is ethnically Muslims, and Afghanistan. So other regions. So no, I don't see any problem with the presence of the cultural minorities and all nations and all minorities, Russians, Tatar, and other nationalities, say, as the common cultural space, and no problem with any cultural minorities.
Do you have to take on the third question on how the extent to which the current global tensions influence the way diplomacy works? Maybe you might want to say something like that. Oke. Ya, jadi Pak Difkom ini bilang bahwa untuk Rusia sendiri ada berbagai program untuk menjaga relasi dengan kelompok-kelompok minoritas, termasuk Crimea dan juga Kazakhstan dan etnis-etnisnya di sana. Dan juga berusaha menciptakan ruang-ruang di mana berbagai budaya multicultural itu bisa beraktivitas bersama, disebutnya common cultural space gitu ya. Baik, mungkin berikutnya kita beri kesempatan untuk Ambassador Konvich to
I know the lady is always holding 3 minutes.
You mentioned Kazakhstan. Another country.
So let me give a very quick answer about let me add about technology and culture. Technology is inevitable. It's there. It's developing fast. To ask how do we preserve our cultural values and embrace technology and mutually supporting each other rather than one destroying the other. Now, this morning when we walked here, we saw a beautiful dance, but the music was not produced here, right? So that is the creation of technology fusion with culture. So I think we need to embrace technology and preserve our culture. That's a quick answer for that. But the lady asked a very interesting question about conflict. You know, conflict is destroying people, destroying property, destroying environment, destroying habitats, and destroying our cultural sites. Very valuable historical sites are bombed into ashes. I can give hundreds of examples. So the conflict is really bad. Now, the argument that I brought forward in my speech is, if there is a fire here, what should we do? First, we should run away, maybe, but we should extinguish the fire. So that is the conflict resolution part, right? And now we have extinguished the fire, right? And we don't want the fire to start again. So we move the combustible materials like clothes to one side, gas to one side. We disconnect electricity, right? That is conflict resolution. But in this room, we still have these things. We have the material which can catch fire. We have the gas. We have electricity. Then the third stage is transformation. That means we move all these things away from the room, so there is no chance of creating a fire here. Now that is where, rather than supporting conflict by providing weapons, to kill people, we need to give priority to diplomacy and dialogue. And we don't see that in the world today. You're absolutely right. We don't see that, unfortunately. What we see is the major powers taking one side against the other. And then the conflict, the fire keep on burning. And one may argue it doesn't impact others. No, it impacts every one of us. If the price of barrel of oil goes by $1, how many millions for Indonesia it costs? Because you import millions of barrels of oil. If the kilogram of grain goes up by 10,000 rupiah, how much you will have to spend? So whatever happening in these conflict zones impact all of us, and it impact our beautiful environment. So much of chemicals, explosives are used. What we need is food on the table, close to their good education. But some countries are thriving on this production of large quantities of destructive things, weapons. Now, where is United Nations in that? We can argue, right? So this is something that conflict, even if we are not a party, impact us. That is my point. And therefore, we all have to rise and say, stop. Thank you.
Councilor Rico, would you like to add something or? I mean, no? I just.
agree with this.
No, I thought, because you're holding the microphone, so I don't. Ya, jadi Ambassador Columbus menyatakan bahwa teknologi dan tradisi itu bukan sesuatu yang perlu dipertentangkan, justru kita harus mencari cara bagaimana mengkolaborasikan dua hal itu. Tadi pagi kita sudah menyaksikan ya kolaborasi antara teknologi dan tradisional performance gitu ya. Musiknya itu diolahnya pakai teknologi gitu, dan bukan diolah secara tradisional gitu ya. Meskipun value yang ada di belakang dari tariannya itu adalah budaya tradisional asalnya. Jadi beliau juga menyatakan bahwa penting sekali untuk melihat beliau prihatin dengan global tension yang ada sekarang. Dan beliau menyatakan bahwa kita perlu mendukung lebih banyak acara seperti ini di mana elemen-elemen budaya dan juga dialog yang dikedepankan, dan supaya kita juga menghindari untuk justru weaponize atau justru cara untuk menyelesaikan konflik itu bukan dengan menambah senjata, tapi justru untuk membuka ruang-ruang dialog yang lebih besar. Dan menurut beliau kita semua harus berpartisipasi menyuarakan ini gitu. I think that's hopefully could deliver the main points of our discussion today. One more time, I would like to say thank you to Ambassador Columbus and also Councilor Rico for your valuable insights and also for enriching our understanding of cultural diplomacy. Your presence here today has truly made this event a memorable one, I think, especially for our first semester students. So let's join hands. Ayo kita berikan apresiasi kita yang besar. Thank you so much. And I think because the time is already, I think we already exceeded the time. I will transfer the floor to our MC, our host. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to the moderator and the speakers.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we invite the speakers and we would like to ask the head of International Relations Department, Mr. Robi Sugara, for giving the plaque presentations to our speaker. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give applause for our speaker for today. because that. Ladies and gentlemen, after this, we are going to do photo session with our speakers. We also are asked to all ambassadors to take pictures together with our first session speaker today. And for the audience, please stand up because we are going to take pictures together with our speakers. And to all speakers, ambassadors, and lecturers, please. All right, thank you very much. And we would like to say, all right. One, sir, can we take a picture soon? 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese. All right, thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, how was the first session? That was very amazing, interesting, and insightful, wasn't it? Before we go further, all right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go further, we welcome the Secretary of Embassy of Pakistan, Ms. Masama Ali, to say hello to our audience.
And also welcome to the Honorable Ambassador of Philippines, Ambassador H.E. Lina Alaguin Jamorali. Now, we will enjoy our second cultural performance, showcasing cultural diversity. We will showcase the vibrant traditions and artistry from various cultures. Our next performance is a collection of hit songs from various parts of the world. This is one of the ways to connect with each other despite distance.
Following by the Russian ballet, we take you through the journey of a soul-searching community beyond her own shadow. A girl whose hands are the threshold of searching, cannot between the expectations of others and her true desires. She stands in front of the mirror, wondering, who am I really?
Each act reflects unique stories, reminding us that our differences unite us in our shared humanity. Let's celebrate the beauty of international cultures together.
I'm gonna be just a face in the crowd. I'm gonna hear my voice when you shout. It's hard. It's how it's hard. It's my life. Baby, when you wake up, find the picture of your heart. It's been all the time. If you can see that I'm not the one stay to leave you. So as you can see, you're you're back to the hard side. In your touch, in the morning rain, I know that you want the one for me. But if you leave my arms again, I'll still be on the southern breeze. We've been falling love and you're sorry. And it's me you need to show. Don't keep it your life. It's your love. I'm thinking me, I still love. Making us down. They all show that I'm speaking. Living on singing and is now. It's And she can come, we can still any time, can I will let it happen, baby. I will never stop. But only if you listen to me. I need You got it all, believe this is the weekend. This is Africa. I say Africa. This is Africa. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Once again, give them up, ladies and gentlemen. What an outstanding performance. Thank you to all the performers for bringing out such a vibrant display of cultural diversity. Next, we will move on to the second culture, where we'll discuss diversity without strength, different but united. This team highlights that our strength lies in diversity. Though we are different, it's the differences that unite us. When every unique aspect is valued, we grow stronger together. Unity is born from the harmony of diverse elements complementing each other.
The moderator for this session is Mrs. Fiona Mandila MIR, who will also introduce the speakers and manage the discussions. Without further ado, let's welcome Mrs. Fiona Mandila MIR to the stage.
All right, I almost forgot that I'm the moderator of the session because of the cultural performance. Okay, so welcome to the International Cultural Fair 2024. It's a pleasure to have you all here, including our esteemed students from the Faculty of Social and Political Science in Jakarta, our dedicated lecturers, and distinguished guest speakers from various embassies. This year's theme, Cultural Diversity of Hope That Always Blooms in All Seasons, invites us to explore the richness and resilience of cultures around the world. Together, we will celebrate the unique contributions of each culture and discuss how they can inspire understanding and collaboration across borders. Let's embark on this enlightening journey together. My name is Rihanna, and I will be your moderator for this session. Now, I would like to welcome our distinguished guests and also having the honor to introduce them to you. Our first speaker is His Excellency Professor Pekan Beyene Alika, PhD. He is the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia to the Republic of Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, and ASEAN. He was appointed as Minister of the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, as State Minister, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Resources, and Commissioner Environment, Forest, and Climate Change Commissions of Ethiopia, and he played an active role in international climate change and environment discussion forums representing Ethiopia. He served also as university professor at Hawassa Diba University,
and also the founding president of Wolega University and the president of Ethiopian Civil Services University. So welcome, Professor. And our second speaker is Her Excellency Gina Alagon Jamorali, PhD. Welcome, Ibu Gina. Ibu Gina is the ambassador of Philippines in Indonesia. She earned her PhD in economics from University of Santo Tomas, Manila, Philippines. Interestingly, she had completed several language courses such as Russian, Spanish, Romanian, Japanese, and including Indonesia. And last but not least, our third speaker, Ms. Masuma Bushra Ali. She is an officer of Foreign Service of Pakistan, currently posted as First Secretary in Pakistan Embassy in Jakarta, dealing with ASEAN, consular students affairs, and community welfare matters. See. So, today we have the unique opportunity to have with the three ambassadors. Today we have the unique opportunity to hear from our esteemed ambassadors who represent the vibrant cultures of Ethiopia, the Philippines, and Pakistan. We will explore how each country's cultural contributions can inspire a greater sense of community and cooperation in our increasingly interconnected world. To open discussion, maybe a nice "How are you?" one heard. How are you, the ambassadors? I hope the traffic, did you catch the traffic to get here? Yes, oh, sorry for that, sorry for that. Well, here I have some questions that we would love to get enlightened from all of you. But before we start, I have pantun for you. Pantun is a traditional form of poetry from Malay literature from Indonesia. The first two lines usually set up an image or theme, while the second two lines deliver the meaning. And also pantun's rhymes A-B. So here we go. In the garden where blossoms sway, joyful laughter fills the air. Welcome to FISIP UIN today. Let us learn your culture with care. Yeah, so okay, without further ado, I know you guys eager to start the session. So I will conduct 30 to 40 minutes session discussion with the ambassadors. And later I will open the Q&A session with the audiences. So maybe for the first start, I would like to ask the three of you, what unique aspects of your country's culture do you believe serve as a core part of your national identity on the global stage? Should I? Yeah.
Thank you very much, moderator. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of today's event. Salam pagi. It's really a very important event, and I really achieve this type of even if people come together and share their experience, but that's our background. Let me tell you a few about Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a country located on the Horn of Africa, one of the ancient countries in the world. Never colonized, the history colonization by the European powers, and the maintains culture, and it's a very diverse country. We have more than 80 different languages and more than 100 different types of tribes. So these live together for thousands of years in harmony. But it's a country of different religions, both Christianity, Muslim, and others coexist for a long time. And there is a formless of all donated coffee to the rest of the world in coffee in Ethiopia, coffee in Africa. And coffee is not only a beverage in Ethiopia, it's a way, it's a culture of people come together and share their experiences and settle disputes among communities if there is any, settle grievances, and also support each other, sympathize with each other. Again, Ethiopia is nowadays one of the fast growing economies in the world. We are trying to reach out and work to collaborate with different parts of the world. Our embassy was established in Indonesia in 2016. The Indonesian embassy in Addis Ababa was established in 1961. And Ethiopia and Indonesia enjoy a long-standing relationship. Ethiopia participated in the One Conference of 1955. Since then, we have been having a very good relation with Indonesia. In summary, Ethiopia's approach to unity in diversity is deeply intertwined with its historical context. We have a federal structure and a cultural interrelations reflecting all the opportunities and challenges inherent in many diverse societies. We have a cultural way of addressing conflict wherever there are conflicts. When people live together for centuries, it doesn't mean that there is no conflict. But there are cultural ways of addressing, solving the problems and helping so that people can live and work together. Thank you.
Salamat pagi. Good morning, and I'm very happy to be here, and I thank the Universitas Islam Negeri, Syarif, Hidayatullah, Jakarta, for giving me the opportunity to share something about my country, the Philippines. First, this year, the Philippines and Indonesia is celebrating 75 years of friendship and bilateral relations. So, the 75th anniversary will fall in November this year. So I'm also inviting the students to come to our cultural event on November 10. It will be held in Jakarta at the Taman Ismail Theater. Yes, so we will send invitations to you and you can invite the student. So first to answer your question, I should first delve on the commonalities that we share with Indonesia, with Philippines. So because that's how we also distinguish our identity. First, both Philippines and Indonesia are archipelago. We share very long coastline. We share the issues and problems of archipelagic states. In fact, we are both members of UNCLOS, Union Convention of the Law of the Sea, which recognizes the rights of archipelagic states. Second, we are both have big population, although the Philippines is about 100 million. I think Indonesia is double that, but we share the issues, problems of big cities and big population. Third, we are both founding members of ASEAN, Philippines and Indonesia. We founded it in 1967, together with others, regional 6 founding countries. But earlier, much earlier, the 3 countries, it started from Mafilindo, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia. That is the forerunners of the ASEAN. All 3 countries others, then it became ASEAN 10 as it is now. So that's a very common, our commonality with Indonesia. And of course, we all share both colonial experience. Indonesia were under the Dutch, and Philippines was under Spain, and later on by the United States of America. So we have these shared experiences based on our history. Now, our differences is, I think, Indonesia is predominantly Muslim, while the Philippines is Christian. 80% of our population are Christians, while we have about 10% Muslim. This is because when Spain colonized the Philippines, it brought with it the Christianity. So, but still, even before Spaniards came to the Philippines was a vibrant trading post. Many countries came to trade in the Philippines. We have the Arabs, we have the Chinese, we have from different countries. That's why the southern part of the Philippines, Mindanao, still maintain their Islamic religion. And as you know, the Philippines was one of the major trading posts in the Manila Galleon trade. It is a forerunner of the globalization trade. There was when we were under Spain, the trade, the products from the Philippines goes to Spain via Mexico, via Acapulco. So all the ships, the galleons, were built by Filipinos. We also produce the seafarers, but the products from Philippines exported to Europe via Mexico, Acapulco, then to Spain. So for several years, the Manila galleon trade was using this route, Manila, Acapulco, Madrid, for the very first export trading route in Southeast Asia. And I think I'm not surprised if the spices from Indonesia, from the Moluccas then, was part of the trade traded in these galleon ships. So I think that's all for now. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen, students, and the moderator, and distinguished panelists here. First of all, it's an honor to be here, part of the discussion to describe some unique aspects of the culture of my country, Pakistan. We represent Pakistan out here to discuss and describe some salient features of the culture of Pakistan. I will just quickly touch upon the relationship between Pakistan and Indonesia and the commonalities that we have, and then I will put you towards the cultural aspects of my country. Pakistan got independence from the British in 1947 and predominantly it's a Muslim country. However, there are a lot of minorities who are living here, honestly, and we look at our flag. Green color of the flag represents the Muslim majority, and white color of the flag represents the minority that live in Pakistan. So, Pakistan and Indonesia are also going to celebrate the 75 years of our United Nations next year. So, we are also expecting a lot of activities right now. So, coming towards the cultural similarities between Pakistan and Indonesia, primarily the main commonality that everyone observes is the fact that both are majority Muslim countries. Both stand side by side as the biggest Islamic population countries across the globe. At the same time, the other commonality that I personally observed during my stay here in Indonesia is the diversity. Everybody knows that Indonesia is a diverse nation, more than 3,000 islands, and every region has a unique culture. Pakistan is not like as big as compared to Indonesia in terms of area, but in population we stand side by side. But the diversity factor is still there. We have our provinces, Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan, and Jammu and Kashmir, which is an independent state. So the point is that each and every province has its unique cultural traits and aspects, be it in terms of music, in terms of dance, in terms of food, and in terms of language. But at the same time, we are together. We have the diversity, we're different, but we're still united in a way that there are a lot of commonalities and unique sense of identity that keeps us closer. If I talk about the basic cultural traits that define Pakistan, number one is obviously, culture as a religion or a kind of explained, and culture, religion plays quite an important role in defining the culture of this country. So predominantly we are a Muslim country, so Muslim values, festivals define a huge part of our culture. We celebrate Eid, history and Adha. And then the other important factor is language. Different provinces speak different languages, but Urdu is our main language, which is spoken all across Pakistan, and everyone understands it. At the same time, the next important cultural trait becomes food. Food is something that definitely gives us proper dominant place across the globe. The kind of food that we eat, depending upon the different province that we go to, have unique taste, blended with rich spices, and it's very popular across the globe. Some of the famous dishes that are eaten worldwide and in Indonesia as well was biryani, nihari, salami, and other stuff. Mostly, then comes the unique aspect of the dress, the way we get dressed up. We have different provinces. Every province has its own cultural dresses, the cultural music and dance. But maybe the traditional dress that is worn across Pakistan is the traditional Russian trouser, which is called shalwar kameez. And for women, it's dupatta that I'm carrying right now, and some women also do hijab, like the way it's followed in the India. So maybe these are some basic cultural traits that define our country. And the most beautiful thing is that there is diversity, there is difference, but there is a sense of identity and a sense of belonging that keeps us closer despite all our differences. So, thank you.
Oke, so saya berikan dulu. Tadi pertanyaan saya ya, aspek unik apa dari kebudayaan negara beliau ini yang menjadi core part dari national identity negara mereka. Nah, tadi Ambassador Ethiopia menyatakan bahwa Ethiopia adalah negara ancient di Afrika ya. Kemudian terdapat 80 diverse 80 different languages, jadi ada 80 jenis bahasa di Ethiopia dan lebih dari 100 ethnicities gitu. Dan di Ethiopia juga ada religion yang bermacam-macam, jadi diverse religion. Kemudian Ethiopia terkenal akan kopi Arabikanya, komunitas di sana, society di sana itu datang dari different cultures, jadi tidak hanya originated by Afrika, tapi juga dari bangsa-bangsa yang lain gitu. Kemudian Ethiopia juga merupakan salah satu growing ekonomi di dunia. Dan kemudian Indonesia dan Ethiopia juga sudah menjalin hubungan bilateral ini dari sejak tahun 1960-an. Nah, Ibu Gina dari Filipina tadi menyatakan bahwa tahun ini Indonesia dan Filipina merayakan 75 years atau 1975 bilateral relationship, dan itu akan dirayakan di November 10 di Taman Ismail Marzuki. Nanti teman-teman bisa datang kalau datang. Terus kemudian tadi Bu Gina sharing tentang commonalities, artinya persamaan antara Indonesia sama Filipina. Yang pertama adalah keduanya adalah negara archipelago dan keduanya terpisah dalam enclave ya, seperti teman-teman tahu. Terus kemudian Filipina dan Indonesia juga merupakan negara yang populasinya besar, walaupun populasi dari Filipina itu hanya setengah dari Indonesia gitu ya, tapi dengan feature itu Indonesia dan Filipina itu punya kurang lebih kesamaan masalah ya, challenges gitu in terms of population gitu. Nah, terus kemudian Filipina juga merupakan salah satu founding members of ASEAN, tapi jauh sebelum itu sebenarnya sudah ada pendahulu dari ASEAN, yaitu Malaysia, Malaysia, Filipina, dan Indonesia, kemudian juga menjadi Israel, kemudian nanti akhirnya menjadi ASEAN. Nah, terus kemudian Filipina dan Indonesia juga sama-sama sharing di colonial experiences, sama-sama dijajah. Indonesia dijajah Belanda, sedangkan Filipina itu dijajah oleh Spanyol gitu. Nah, apa yang menjadi apa ya feature dari Filipina itu adalah pertama mungkin kalau perbedaannya sama Indonesia di Filipina lebih banyak Kristianinya, tapi Muslim itu tetap ada di sana ya, makanya kita mengenal namanya suku Mindanao. Nah, tapi yang menjadi kebanggaan bagi orang Filipina adalah bahwa dari dulu terkenal sebagai negara ekspor ya, negara ekspor dari zaman penjajahan dulu, di mana di kawasan Asia atau Asia Tenggara, pionir dari eksportir yang level internasional itu adalah si Filipina ini, yaitu tadi beliau menceritakan tentang rute perdagangannya yaitu dari Manila, Acapulco, Meksiko, baru sampai Spain. Tapi menggambarkan bahwa trade itu menjadi sebuah kebanggaan buat orang-orang Filipina. Nah, yang terakhir dari Pakistan sendiri, Pakistan dan Indonesia juga akan celebrate 75 tahun bilateral relationship-nya, tapi tahun depan. Kemudian juga sharing the same majority Muslims. Terus kemudian sama seperti Indonesia, Pakistan itu juga populasinya besar dan punya tribes di dalamnya, dia very diverse, tapi juga unite dan unik gitu. Nah, terus kemudian food tentunya menjadi sebuah kebanggaan buat teman-teman di Pakistan. Dan tadi beliau juga menjelaskan tentang keunikan dress mereka gitu ya, ada sherwal dan juga dupatta. Terus kemudian maybe I'm going to move to my second questions. How long do I have the time? 20 minutes? 20 minutes? Oh, okay. So maybe this is the last question from me. Well, maybe what initiatives does your country implement to promote intercultural understanding among its diverse populations?
Thank you very much. I have briefly mentioned that in Japan, Indonesia, nation started I briefly mentioned earlier that Indonesia nation started in 1961 when the diplomatic mission was signed, but the embassy of Indonesia opened in Sabah in 1964. Ethiopia has been playing a very important role in the international relations, particularly in relation with the Great for the World, as a founding member of the League of Nations and also the founding member of the United Nations and also the African Union. Ethiopia, as being a diverse country that is in the space diversity, values diversity, promote the principles of diversity in this public diplomacy. In all our foreign missions, we have a public diplomacy where we organize cultural events and also especially for coffee diplomacy. So we have a special coffee ceremony. In Ethiopia, coffee, you cannot drink coffee alone. Coffee is served is for a community. There is a very big facility where we can serve coffee and where we can discuss issues related to communities, and this type of cultural celebrations play a very important role in our cultural diplomacy. The collective life and the community values in Ethiopia is also very important. We call it the Mabarawi Group or collective life, emphasizing community reliance and cooperation among Ethiopians. This strong community focus encourages individuals to support one another, reinforcing social bonds that transcend ethnic identity. So as I mentioned earlier, there are special communal associations, which we call it interdevelopment or government. You know, these are communal societies where communities form society where they can support each other during special events or challenges for fundraising for collective works. Again, another important one, the moral and the ethical foundations. The moral values derived from different major regions play a crucial role in promoting tolerance and ethical behavior amongst people. Respect for elders and communal activities are central to maintaining harmony in a diverse society. These traditions collect nurture a spirit of unity in diversity that is essential for diverse social fabric and the whole world can use this type of culture that exists in the country of difference. Again, education plays a very important role in diversity by fostering understanding, respect, and appreciation among themselves from different cultural backgrounds. We have curriculum of the country integrated because curriculum integration, impact, and continuity are very important in this case. You can say education serves as a foundation for building equality society by bridging cultural divides and instilling values of tolerance and inclusivity. In conclusion, beyond economic and political ties, the cultural and educational exchange within our nations provides fertile ground for mutual understanding and collaboration. Both Japan and Indonesia whose rich and diverse cultural heritage that can serve as bridge between our people. We encourage more academic partnership, more student exchange, and more cultural programs to develop these connections, fostering people-to-people connections that enhance mutual respect and friendship. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, for the second question, I also would like to add another commonality is that Indonesia and Philippines both belong to the Malayalees. As it is obvious, we look the same. So every year always mistaken for Indonesia, and I think many of you, if you go to Philippines, they will talk to you in English. No, they will talk to you in Filipino, our national language, because they thought you're Filipinos. So really, there are so much worse. We are so much similar than different. But another thing is regarding. I also forgot to say that the Philippines was one who became a republic, Southeast Asia's first republic. We declared our independence against Spain on June 12, 1898. And I think the Philippine Revolution in 1898 was a model for all other countries in the Southeast Asia to be able to, to have democracy after that. Because the Philippines was the first country in Southeast Asia who rose against colonial power. So that's, but for the sharing of culture, first, we are very strong on people-to-people connection. I've talked to Indonesian doctors who have studied in the Philippines. They speak fluent Filipino because they did their specialization in medicine in many of the medical schools in the Philippines. And I can also met a lot of Indonesians who have taken graduate studies in the Philippines because you see, Philippines have very strong education. We export, we send a lot of our professionals abroad. Roughly, our overseas workers around the world is around 10 million, which is about 10% of our population.
Yesterday, I was talking with our people. I attended an IOM, International Organic Migration. We were estimating, maybe the Indonesians, how many are also working as migrant workers. But I know for Philippines, we have around 10 million Filipinos working abroad. So our overseas workers are really like, they are like our ambassadors too, because they bring with them their culture, their education, their language, their religion, so they're everywhere. So I think education is one linkages that both countries share. In fact, since I arrived here in Jakarta last year, I have received a lot of requests from many Indonesian universities to have linkages. They offer scholarships to Filipino students to come here and vice versa. Our universities in the Philippines they also come here and they bring their students. I think they visited some universities because they do it, on their bilateral. So there's a lot of interest for exchange of students. And also, I would like to say that majority of our Filipinos working here in Indonesia are teachers. They have been here since 1960s. Predominantly they teach English. They are mostly in the private schools. So many of them, they're also sharing, their expertise. So yeah, that's in the field of education. And also, our cultural programs are also within the context of ASEAN. Because in ASEAN, there is a third pillar, social community. So all ASEAN countries contribute for the budget to have student exchange. We used to have the Southeast Asian friendship, where a lot of young people from different ASEAN countries stay in one ship and they travel to all over the both different ASEAN member countries. So the Philippines is also one of the member, as member of ASEAN, we do cultural programs, and as well as I know that our foreign ministry used to do trainings for senior mid-level diplomats. Within ASEAN, we have this kind of like division. Like for example, for diplomacy, the junior, like me when I was junior officer, I had a training in Malaysia for junior ASEAN diplomats. But if you are already mid-career or senior, the Philippine Foreign Service also offers courses on senior level diplomacy. So these are just one of those cultural things that we are doing. So thank you very much.
For Pakistan, I would like to answer the question in two parts. Number one, what kind of strategy the government adopts to understand or to make people understand about the cultural diversity in Pakistan, and then how are we taking cultural collaboration with Indonesia to the next level. So first, moving toward the question of making people understand about the cultural diversity within Pakistan. So the first and foremost thing is that Pakistan is a diverse country. People from different cultures are living with each other together to peaceful coexistence. For example, people from Punjab province are living in Sindh, people of Sindh ethnicity are living in Punjab, or maybe vice versa. So this is how they keep their identity with them, but they peacefully mingle with the people of some other culture. So this is how the identity or their cultural values are spread in different provinces. At the same time, they understand cultural differences in diversity, which is agricultural practices that are being observed in different provinces. So this way, we have like maybe it's Punjabi culture or Sindhi culture, under the case of Pakistani culture, right? So there are different languages. People keep, for example, the Punjab province people speak Pashto. But if they're living in Punjab, so they will be learning Punjabi and they will be teaching Pashto to them. So this is how they will create cultural unity and part of along with the diversity. Pakistani government has its own institutes to promote cultural heritage. For example, Pakistan Institute of National Council of the Arts and the National Heritage Foundation. So the basic purpose is to organize different cultural festivals, music festivals, literary festivals, where people from different provinces come and they share their music, their art, their poetry, their food-related practices and all. So people, learn to understand about each other's culture. And then you can have a festival, regarding the religion, for example, Eid is celebrated across the board, Christmas is celebrated across the board, the Sun Festival, which is primarily a South Asian festival, which is also celebrated in Pakistan. So this is how some of the things, the role of civil society and community engagement, role of NGO is also very crucial. So this is how within Pakistan we try to promote our diversity along with unity. Now moving towards the cultural diversity and cultural collaboration within Indonesia. Primarily it is focusing on people-to-people connectivity. During COVID times, the influx of people from Pakistan to Indonesia and from Indonesia to Pakistan was not that much due to travel restrictions. But now a lot of Pakistani students are coming to Indonesia, Indonesian students are going to Pakistan. Generally, a lot of people prefer to travel to Bali. It's quite a favorite tourist destination for Pakistanis. Apart from that, there are some Pakistani restaurants that are also opening in Jakarta. So people are slowly getting introduced with the Pakistani food. Unfortunately, we do not have, as per my understanding, an Indonesian restaurant in Pakistan. So far, we don't have that food. But the Pakistanis come here, they really like the Indonesian food because it's somehow similar to Pakistan when it comes to the level of spices. Pakistanis like spices also, and the Indonesians also like spicy food. So this is the kind of connectivity that brings people closer. Other than that, we have our cultural exchanges as well. There are student exchanges as well. There are universities who are collaborating with each other at private university level. Government is also trying our best to facilitate and promote the linkages between the two countries. So I assume that through cultural exchanges and through people-to-people connectivity, both sides can come closer and communicate about the cultural traits, unique cultural traits that both of the countries possess.
So, saya rekap sedikit ya. Kalau dia Ethiopia, tadi pertanyaan saya.
Jadi kalau tadi pertanyaan saya itu adalah apa sih diimplementasikan dari negara-negara ideologi dalam cultural difference. Kalau di Ethiopia sendiri itu sangat mengedepankan tentang parliamentasi gitu ya. Kemudian misalnya dia punya yang namanya acara, ada yang namanya taksi di komisi gitu. Nah, di sana mereka mengimpor itu barang-barang gitu ya, dan itu juga akan juga ketika mereka berhubungan dengan negara-negara lain. Terus kemudian edukasi itu tentunya sebagai satu jalan yang sangat diandalkan ya dalam bridging cultural diversity ini. Begitu juga dengan Filipina, people-to-people connections itu sangat diemphasize dalam hal ini. Filipina itu banyak sekali profesional keluar ya. 10% dari Filipina, 10% sampai Filipina itu women girl gitu ya. Dan di Indonesia banyak yang merupakan English teacher gitu. Jadi beliau 10% warga Filipina inilah yang menjadi ambassador bagi mereka gitu. Dan akhirnya membridging kebudayaan Filipina di negara di mana mereka berada. Sama seperti Pakistan juga seperti itu. Edukasi menjadi salah satu yang penting. Kemudian people connection, kemudian cultural exchange segalanya akan menjadi sebuah dampak untuk membridging diversity ini. Nah mungkin ini saatnya untuk sesi tanya jawab. Saya mau berapa? 10 menit ya? 15 menit? Oke, mungkin 2 pertanyaan aja kali ya. Coba 2 pertanyaan, ada yang ingin bertanya? Is there any question? Yes. 1, 2, ya. Oke. Di tempat aja nanti mic-nya datang. mention your name, your semester, keep it short and clear. Boleh pakai bahasa Indonesia kalau memang ribet.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farel Balde and I'm a student of international relations majors. I want to ask that do you think that AI technology possesses more threat to its benefits toward cultural diversity? For example, when AI on one hand can be used to promote diversity, but on the other can be weaponized to undermine diversity. And for the reason, do you think that AI usage should be regulated in the international community? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunities. My name is Indonesia from International Relations. Indonesia and the Philippines have many similarities, especially in the language, in the pronunciation, and then the shape words. Personally, I really like the Tagalog language, and TMI, I can see with the Tagalog. So the question is, how important is the similarity in a language for cooperation or diplomacy between Indonesia and Philippines? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all the questions. The first question is about AI, whether it is subscribed to cultural diversity or not, and should it be related or not. Yeah, AI, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Oh yeah. So whether it is a threat to the cultural diversity, will it strengthen the cultural diversity or threaten them? Should it be
the question of AI and the cultural diversity is a very important question. Whether it is AI or any other technology, there must be a procedure and a regulation how to make it. Technology, if it is not regulated, it's always dangerous for the society. We all know that the invention of some of the technologies were not meant for the destruction of society, but nowadays there are conditions which are used for the destruction of society because of lack of regulation. So I think, in my opinion, it's important that there is regulation and the standard of operation in order to protect and preserve cultural diversity.
I completely agree with the opinion that our respected administrators highlighted. It's not about the tools of technology, it's about its use. The way you use it, the way you regulate it, I think that with AI and all other social media tools in general, they can be used to promote cultural diversity if they are properly regulated and they're used in a way that will not create a threat to others in their cultural promotion. For instance, there are different tools and different programs can be developed with the help of AI, and they can be promoted through social media, promoting the cultural diversity, understanding the differences, and promoting peaceful coexistence. But on the other hand, if they go unregulated, so we can see that they can be used as a propaganda tool, or they can be used as, there are a lot of fake videos going on around, making rounds about certain people, and they can be misused. So, in my opinion, if it is used in a regulated manner, it can be used to promote cultural diversity and to counter propaganda as well.
To answer the first question, yes, AI is now the hot issue. So when AI was created, it was meant to help us to get more knowledge. But economics is also a term called externalities. There are some unintended consequences which are not anticipated by its creators. But I was born during the pre-internet age. During that time, we didn't have internet, we didn't have smartphone. When you do your research, you go to the nearest library physically. When I did my PhD, I have to go to the different libraries. But now, at the tip of your finger, you can have all the data. So it's good for research, but AI is bad if it hampers creativity. Because if you just rely on the AI, where is the original thinking? So this is the one disadvantage. That's why in the Philippines, we are already coming up with regulations on the use of AI in the education sector. I mean, if you want to use AI, you have to declare it. But then there are some areas that AI is not allowed. So it is being regulated in the education sector of the Philippines. But it is good for knowledge. So everyone should be very intelligent by now because you have your knowledge at your fingertips. But if it can be, it can also be misused. So I believe it should be regulated. Now for the second question, yes, there are very similarities between Tagalog and Bahasa Indonesia. That's why very similar words. That's why there is really something that connects us before, like the word anak, aku, lima, many things. But our language, Tagalog, has also a mix of Spanish words. We also get from Spain. So it's but I think there are more similarities between the language. And I forget to tell you that in two universities in the Philippines, I think Ateneo de Manila and University of they're offering Bahasa Indonesia classes. So in fact, one of the Filipino participant in the Dharma Susma program is majoring in philology in Bahasa Indonesia University. So he's here now for the 1 year scholarship. So I wish we can also put up a Philippine studies program here in Indonesia to also promote the Philippine language. Thank you very much.
Ya, jadi tadi kurang lebih jawabannya sama, mungkin secara umum aja intinya adalah bahwa AI itu ya bisa menjadi suatu kekuatan, tetapi apabila sebenarnya kan teknologinya itu tidak apa-apa ya, tapi yang dipermasalahkan adalah the way we use it, ya, bagaimana kita menggunakannya. Nah, supaya tidak sampai misuse, menurut beliau-beliau ini perlu sekali untuk diregulasi sehingga apa yang menjadi strength dari sebuah teknologi dalam hal ini AI itu bisa memang dimaksimalkan. Di Filipina sendiri tadi Ibu Dina menyampaikan bahwa AI itu sudah diregulasi. Ini di dunia akademik gimana kalau menggunakan AI ketika melakukan riset itu harus disampaikan, tapi nggak semua juga boleh menggunakan AI. Nah, kemudian untuk pertanyaan kedua, jawabannya tentu sangat berperan penting, bahkan secara realnya, ya, secara pragmatisnya, bilateral relationship-nya itu dalam dunia bahasa itu sendiri. Gitu. Jadi bagaimana Indonesia dan Filipina punya sebuah program di mana studi tentang bahasa Indonesia itu dilaksanakan di Universitas di Manila. Ada dua tadi, salah satunya Universitas Manila. Kemudian dan intinya berharap supaya di Indonesia juga ada studi tentang bahasa Filipina itu. Jadi tentunya punya manfaat bersama bahasa ini dan tentunya bisa menjadi sebuah program yang baik di dalam hubungan bilateral keduanya. Nah, well, with that answer, we have arrived to the end of our discussion. Please give another round of applause. Thank you so much for your time to be here and share your culture with us. We've learned new things about Pakistan, Ethiopia, and Philippines, and the importance to be united in diversity. Thank you also for the audiences for your enthusiasm and participation. Last pantun from me before I close our session. By the river where the waters shine, happy hearts come out to play. Thank you for your time. It was great and fun. See you again in another cultural meeting. Thank you to the speakers and moderator for the insightful discussion. And now we invite the speakers to receive their marks as a token of our appreciation.
Once again, we invite speakers and moderators to the stage for the participation session. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, give applause for our speakers, moderators, and presentation. And we invite Mr. Robin Sugara MSD for giving a plaque presentation and do qualifications with our speaker and the moderator. Once again, thank you very much for a very insightful and amazing talk show on the second session. First, we have Ambassador of Ethiopia, HD Professor Kakadu Bayan Alay, PhD. Second, Ambassador of the Philippines, HD Gina Alago Jamal PhD. And the third, we have First Secretary of Pakistan Embassy, is Nasrullah Musharraf Ali. Let's give them a big applause for them. We give this plaque as our appreciation for the speakers for sharing their information of their country's culture. Now, after this, we're going to take photos together with our speakers and moderators, and to our lecturers, we invite you to take the picture together with us. All right. We are going to take pictures together with the speakers and the audience. And the audience, you may please stand up together. Position is facing the stage. Right? I'm ready. Please move forward a little bit. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, say kimchi. All right, thank you so much for everyone, and you may say that now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was actually our last session of our talk show for our 2024 for today. But don't be sad, we still have some performance that will bring us to a more colorful world. Are you guys curious? Are you guys excited to watch our next performance? All right. So to all ambassadors, we invite you to watch our next performance.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as the final cultural performance of today, we present the Sons of Nusantara, a mesmerizing showcase that beautifully combines the traditional melody and the iconic fundamental dance from Jakarta. These performances not only highlight our rich cultural heritage, but also celebrate the unity and spirit that defines the Nusantara.
Following of my legend, Wonderland Indonesia, is a dance journey through the beauty of the archipelago, a harmony of nature and culture that lives in the soul of each of its people. Here, we will witness a blend of traditional colors, graceful dance moves, and a spirit that symbolizes the strength and diversity of the nation. Accompanied by traditional music, every step of the dance demonstrates a spirit of unity amidst differences, as well as love for the motherland.
Tourism. We will also feel how love can be an element that unites hearts, moves stacks, and evokes the deepest feelings. As the rhythm begins to flow, let your heart be carried away by the meaningful lyrics. Feel love in all its forms, which sometimes comes in a water of happiness, but can also be trapped between your tears. Let's give a applause for the performance.
Indonesia merah putihku, hidupku bersabda semangatku. Indonesia tempat jatuhku, hatiku lakukan cita-citaku. Terbang tinggi bersama mimpi tak
Wow, let's give applause once again, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, perfect. I'm about to try to see that performance before. And don't worry, moving on, we are also would see the next performance, which called Ondel Battalions.
Witness the dance moves that elevate the spirit of cooperation and unity of the common people, as well as respect for nature and their ancestors. With a big wave of hand and footsteps, the Ondel then takes us into a world full of local wisdom and rich traditions. Please give applause for Ondel performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it together.
Take a group photo session with this album.
To all the audience, you may sit back down. Thank you. Ready? Let's take a picture in 3, 2, 1. All right. 3, 2, 1, say cheese. Okay. 3, 2, 1, smile. One, 2, 3, smile. All right, let's be loud for our performance, ladies and gentlemen. So, how are you guys feeling? How are you guys feeling? That was very extraordinary performance of today. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a journey that inspires us all to reflect on the true meaning of the word peace. Peace is not really the absence of war, but the presence of justice, love, and mutual understanding among all people. Today, we will witness a performance that reflects our shared hope, struggle, and dream for a more peaceful world. And today, that have all pledged to continue fighting for peace. Let's make this world a better place, where everyone can live in peace, free from fear, and filled with hope. Because only by unity can we achieve what we all long for peace.
Before we start, we would like to say thank you to all the sponsors, mainly Pertamina Gas Negara,
Berita Banten, Greek Star, and On-Stage Academy.
and also we would like to say thanks to all media partners who have supported this amazing event, namely FISIP UIN Jakarta,
Himpunan Mahasiswa Bukan Internasional Jayabaya,
Student for Liberty Indonesia,
UIN Jakarta Official,
Radio Dakwah dan Komunikasi FM,
Fokus UIN Jakarta,
HMPS Manajemen Pendidikan,
HMPS Akuntansi,
HMPS Pendidikan Bahasa Arab,
Himpunan Mahasiswa Ilmu Politik UIN Jakarta,
Himpunan Mahasiswa Sosiologi UIN Jakarta,
FPCI Chapter Jayabaya,
HMPS Perbandingan Mazhab,
Radio Hikmah Universitas Gunadarma,
Eyesight UIN Jakarta,
Youth Ranger Jakarta,
and last but not least, Kerja Mimpi Depok. What an extraordinary showcase we witnessed today. Before we conclude, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to everyone who contributed to the success of the International Relations Cultural Fair 2024. We hope this event has enriched to understanding of global cultural diversity.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's sing together and enjoy our last performance, Heal the World! Give applause!
With you each time, we find there's no need to cry. In this place, we find there's no sorrow. There are ways to get there. You can make a little stay. To make a better thing.
This is
Must come together as one. It's give love.
So let's not get We are one thing, so so let's start being stronger. It's you who make us to cheer when we need. We come together. We are one to make it better. So let's start being
I step in 24. Thank you. Right, we would like to say once again, thank you so much for the very, very amazing performance. And the last song, Feel the World, is giving me a message. So let's all celebrate the differences. Let's all create peace in our own way. And ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the last and very, very last before we close this event. We would like to jargon, okay. If we say International Relations Cultural Fair 2024,
You say, bridging culture, bridging power.
all right. Let's try together. One,
One,
two,
two, three.
International Relations Cultural Fair 2024. All right, thank you so much. And also, we'd like to remind you to fill the evaluation form. We already have this barcode you can scan and fill the evaluation form for International Relations Cultural Fair 2024. And we also would like to remind you to go to the platform. We have photo booth and some exhibition. It was very, very amazing and interesting to visit.
See you next time, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you. We finally accomplished the best, so you can find you in another manner. Thank you all for your time.